Welcome to God's Vibes, the faith gym for faith walkers who are done playing small and ready to live fully led. I'm Juliana Page, apostolic voice, prophetic coach, and founder of Courage Co. And this space is where you train in truth, strengthen your spirit, and walk in your kingdom identity. If you're ready to grow in boldness, break through self-doubt, and become who God says you are, this is for you. Let's dive in. What's good, faith walkers? Welcome back. I wanted to dive into a teaching today on stewarding a God dream. Stewarding a God dream, and specifically what no one tells you, because I truly wish that people would have told me these things. Because this, I will tell you, is different than just entrepreneurship. This is different than just having another dream and making a dream reality. And this has been something that I've walked through both sides of. I've walked through building things without God and building things with God, and they are totally different. And depending on what sphere of influence you're in, if you're in the marketplace, if you're in the church, wherever you might find yourself, stewarding a God dream can be different. And a lot of places that God is calling people to right now, these are new things. This is new wine. This is new wineskins. That means this is pioneering. That means it's never been done before. And when things have never been done before, there's not a whole lot of support and scaffolding for that. And that can be very challenging because it can feel like it's a lonely journey. And there's all sorts of things that can come with that. So I thought I might acknowledge and validate that for some of you, and also create some clarity and some context for some others of you. So this could be a sobering and intentional journey that, yes, it really is as hard as it sounds like. And if somebody's not telling you it's hard, they might not be actively walking in it, right? And then also, we have so many people, whether these are folks that work with me one-on-one, whether these are folks that get certified in our Spirit-Driven Success Life Coach Certification Program. They want to help other people get launched into their destinies, or folks that want to come through our prophetic training and this just different programs that we offer. I see this happening over and over and over again, that genuinely people feel called to more, and they feel called to do things that they've never seen done before. And that can be tough because they're not around people that are doing those things, and then they don't know what to do. And then there's not a lot of support. Often there's a lot of hate in the beginning that doesn't really go away. You just know how to manage it better in the future, right? But it can be very, very hard to break atmosphere. Like, the visual that I have for this is literally like a rocket ship from like the Houston Space Center, right? Like shooting out of Earth's atmosphere into another atmosphere, right? It's like very shaky. Things fall off. Things just, are designed to do that because you just can't take all of the stuff with you when you go into a new orbit. So, all that to say, if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, go ahead and subscribe. Take a second to do that. We do episodes every single week, so this is a great opportunity to be reminded of these. They have a way of just ministering to you if they're created in a spirit-led way right when you need to hear them. They're just relevant and revelatory, and so they can absolutely be a blessing for you. So go ahead and subscribe. Share this with somebody that can be blessed by it. That supports me more than you'll ever know in this work as well. So thank you for that. And let's dive in, shall we? Oh, exciting thing. Not all of you are in Courage Co. So sometimes I forget this, but we are in the midst of a very exciting season, maybe even an era, if you will. But we are in the midst of Full Capacity Live. And Full Capacity Live is a series of experiences and encounters leading into the official book launch of Full Capacity: How to Live Ridiculously Free and Fuel a Life Without Limits. That officially comes out on March 21st. So we are doing a live book launch event. It's going to be a full day of activities, not just a book launch party, although that will be a part of it. But it's going to be amazing. We have a lot of our Courage Co crew coming in, which just is maybe one of my most favorite parts. It's what I'm so looking forward to. And we're just going to have fun. And it's a beautiful opportunity to connect, to have fellowship time, really with other like-minded people, and to learn about the book, get the book, and just to get equipped. So leading up to that, we have a 40-day devotional series that started. This is totally free. I will put the details for that below. You just get an email a day. So even if you start after February 9th, you are not behind. You can literally still take it a day at a time, a step at a time, and a moment at a time. It will just go beyond the launch, which is perfect. That's totally fine. Then we also, coming up, which you don't want to miss, are going to start a live activation series inside Courage Co. I'll drop the registration for that below too, but I'm going to go live with you once a week, every week, all 4 weeks leading into the launch week. And it's going to be a teaser of the book, and then you can get the book. It's just going to be so fun. So all that to say, you are welcome to be a part of Full Capacity Live, a season of experiential education, because that's really how we learn. You can get information all day long, but experiential education is the way. I'm a big believer in that. So plug in with us, come along the journey. And we also have upcoming on February 19th at 7 p.m. Central, we have a ridiculously free masterclass. We're going to talk about truly how you can live ridiculously free. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So you're going to learn so many keys that will help you unlock destiny. It's going to be a great time. This is happening inside Courage Co, so you get that just by being a part of it. And then we also will have our Kingdom Builders Night. That's just available to those that are inside Courage Co as well. And that is just a vision night, prophetic encouragement, and just a time of fellowship and connecting as well. So essentially, a lot of what we do virtually is what we're going to be bringing live in a very interactive way in March. So I wouldn't miss it. Get in the room. All of the details I'll put in the show notes. All right, so let's dive in now that I think I have the announcements. If I miss something that's really great to do, become a God's Vibes Insider. I do not appreciate spam, so I don't spam people. I do write very intentional, prayerful emails, though, and I do release one every Friday, and I do a prophetic encouragement on the first of every month. So if that's something you want to receive, there's that. And the God's Vibes Insider list is also the best way to stay up to date on all of the events that are upcoming. So that's just a sure way that you won't miss it, and you'll have all the links in one place. So that's really all that is, but all that's below. Click as you will, share it with friends. Let's connect. All right, so let's dive in. Let's clarify what a God dream actually is, because that might even be elusive to some people, okay? So there is truly a difference, very much so, between a dream you want and a dream that God assigns to you. Those are different things. There's dreams that we want, and then there's dreams that God assigns to you. That's similar to the difference between how we're not told to believe the best, we're actually told to believe the truth. How many of you have actually believed the best about people, and that got you in trouble because you put on these rose-colored glasses and you weren't believing the truth? So you tolerated things you weren't supposed to. You got involved in patterns and dynamics that you weren't supposed to be dancing in. You really put up with a whole lot and participated in a whole lot, because it always takes two to be in a relationship, that you didn't have to, right? For the sake of believing the best about somebody else instead of what they were showing you. No, we need to actually believe the truth. And the truth is what the word says, not what we hope sometimes, right? So similarly, a dream that you want is often different than a dream God assigns, okay? So a personal dream is often this. It is something that you pursue and you really then later ask God to bless it. Has anyone done this before? It's like, I really, really, really want this thing, this person, whatever. Just bless it, Lord. Bring it to me, right? I've seen this a lot with folks that are looking for their spouse. Like, are you my spouse? Are you my spouse? You guys remember that book? Like, Are You My Mother? Dr. Seuss. Right? But it's like people can be set on wanting that so bad, and then they're upset that God didn't give it to them, but that's not how God was leading them. A God dream, on the other hand, is something that God initiates and asks you to carry. So instead of being like, God, here's my dream, bless it, it's more, God, what are you doing? I don't want to miss it. God, what do you want? How can I co-create with you? Right? Daniel 11:32 is one of our foundational scriptures, right? It says, those that know their God shall be strong and do great exploits. Well, What is the great exploit that God wants to invite you into? That's a God adventure. It's one that he's already prepared it in advance for you to walk in. It's one of his good plans, right? Well, that's maybe different than your plan that you're trying to get him to bless. So a personal dream will measure success by outcome, and that's where it gets really tricky. This is why I teach spirit-driven success, because it's a very different kind. And then a God dream measures success by faithfulness, by obedience, by your character development, right? Because your life truly is always moving at the speed of your obedience. So if you're not popping off yet, as they say, you're probably popping off in a different area, or God's probably developing something in you in the dark room of destiny. And thank God he's doing that, because if light were to hit you and you're not ready, it hits different when you're not ready, right? So most people want the fruit of a God dream without the formation required to carry it. And this is really what's in the book Full Capacity too. But we truly need to become the form. We need to come into agreement, right? We need to align with what God is saying in order to truly be ready for it, right? Here are some anchors for this so that you can look this up and study this as well. And P.S., if you don't have a Bible handy or your notebook, those are always great things to have, whether it's the podcast, YouTube, whatever it might be. All right, so John 5:19 says this. So Jesus answered them by saying, I assure you and most solemnly say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself unless it is something he sees the Father doing. For whatever things the Father does, the Son in his turn also does in the same way. Another way that this is said, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build labor in vain, right? Unless the Lord builds the house, it won't stand. Like, you might get it up, but it's not going to be long standing, okay? And it's probably going to give you a lot more toil and pain than you realize, all right? So that's not so fun. Jesus did not move, what this is showing in John 5:19. Jesus wasn't moving from personal ambition, and personal ambition can get us in trouble. It can get us into some sticky situations. That can even be an idol. Okay, our ambition can be our idol. He moved, though, from alignment, and he modeled this so well, so well. He was very poised, very peaceful, very powerful, very in tune. Like, he was constantly fine-tuning his relationship with the Lord. Habakkuk 2:2, then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it plainly on clay tablets so that the one who reads it will run. A lot of us are in a running season too, right? Like, all those things that have been being cooked up for years in the slow cook, it's going to be time to run with those now, right? And when it's time to run, you don't have time to slow cook. So you got to embrace the slow cook. For the vision is yet for the appointed future time. It hurries towards the goal and will not fail. Even though it delays, or some verses say tarries, wait patiently for it because it will certainly come. It will not delay. Like, when the time is right, I, the Lord, shall make it happen. And there will be no delay involved in that, right? So a God vision truly carries timing. There's a set time for everything under the sun. That is true of a God dream as well, right? And at the right time, when it's fully cooked, that's when it has the greatest impact. You don't want to deliver a baby, for example, before its due date. That's often not a good thing. And at the same time, you don't want to be too far beyond the due date. That's not a great thing either. There can be complications on both sides. You want the perfect delivery, right? And this requires patience. Right? Like, a God dream usually involves a timeline that you think is way longer than you would have liked it to have been, right? So here's the thing with God dreams. There's like a lot of preconceived notions that we might have, and sometimes people get validated in making it look easy, so they don't share what's happening actually behind the scenes. They don't draw back the curtain, so it just looks easy to them. But we're going to talk about this. When you are walking out a God dream, what happens is responsibility increases, it doesn't decrease, right? He who is faithful with little is entrusted much. So your victory, your promotion, your reward for doing well in this season with this project, with this assignment, is getting advanced or promoted into the next one with more responsibility, right? And that can feel heavy. So many people think that if something is from God, it's just going to be easier. It's just going to be easier. And I don't know where that came from, but I don't read that in my Bible, right? Like, I don't know that anything necessarily gets easier, right? It might get fierier, more fire happens, right? But it often gets heavier, quite honestly. I have this visual of just hanging onto the potter's wheel and you're just like flailing about like a little merry-go-round. You're just like hanging on, like by all means necessary. You're going to cling to the potter's wheel and just stay on the wheel, but it's going to take everything just to stay on the wheel. There's more responsibility. There's more people affected. There's more decisions that you need to make wisely. There's more accountability. There's more challenges. There's more that you have to think through and process. There's more emotional bandwidth that's required. There's more things that are going to be contended for, interceded for. There's going to be more things that are taking up space in your heart. It's a lot. And a lot of people are looking for work-life balance, or they're looking for balance in this. And I, at times, think that this is really laughable, because particularly in the first few years of getting a God dream off the ground, or even understanding what God is doing, which a lot of times he reveals through on-the-job training, it's not work-life balance. You have to literally fight for priorities. You have to fight for the things that matter and that God says are priority in this season, and devote yourself to them. And it's not going to look really well balanced on your calendar from that standpoint. It's not going to look like it all gets done the same day. Some days are going to favor the work. Some days are going to favor the relationships, but it's not always going to feel balanced. And that's not really a good aim to go for, because it just might not feel that way at all. James 3:1 also says this: not many of you should become teachers, serving in an official teaching capacity, my brothers and sisters, for you know that we who are teachers will be judged by a higher standard, because we have assumed greater accountability and more condemnation if we teach incorrectly. We are actually seeing this in the church right now. There are so many ministers, pastors, prophets, people that stand in really big ministries that have been in a position of teacher that are under massive exposure right now. And they're feeling the weight of consequences, and they are feeling accountability and justify the just scales happening. And this is really, really tough, because frankly, every believer that's positioning him or herself to share the good news should be very intentional about that. None of that should ever be taken lightly. Praying for God to keep a guard over your mouth, that you might not sin against him. Praying that you would steward his word well, rightly divide it, help you study it, help you meditate it, help you break it down. Praying that God would help you reveal the truth that he's revealed to you, and not try to teach something that isn't yours to teach, or that you truly don't know, or that could be poor theology. Like, this is very, very important. But sometimes, especially with social media, there can be like copy paste ministries, and there could just be people that are taking other people's content and like framing like they're the authority of that. And it's getting very, very messy. But calling brings responsibility, and you can't fake fruit, and you can't fake character. And anything that is in the dark, eventually light will come on it. And there's been massive light hitting many things lately. There's been a lot of exposure, a lot of pruning, a lot of shedding. So calling brings responsibility, but influence will bring weight. There's going to be more eyes on you. More eyes means more opinions. More eyes means more hate. More eyes means more praise. And both of those you can't let take too much weight in your life. This is when you truly have to have practice that you do everything as unto the Lord. You don't have this fear of man anymore. He's worked that out of you so that you truly do walk in the fear of the Lord, because that's going to be a whole lot harder to steward influence when you've got that operating. This does not necessarily mean that something is wrong, but it means that something has been entrusted to you, and you needn't think about that in a way that is less than sober-minded, right? You want to be very intentional about how you are leading and what God is entrusting with you, so that you steward it well, because you're responsible for that, not somebody else. Somebody else that's slinging an opinion doesn't have the weight of what you're responsible for. They got their own, right? So you are responsible for what you are thinking, what you are saying, what you are stewarding, what you are doing. Luke 12:48 says, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be required." That's hard, right? "And from the one who has been entrusted with much, even more will be asked." Okay? Like, I'll give you an example. I'm in an interesting position. You know, a lot of people don't know what I do. They think, "Oh, are you just on Zoom all day? Is that what you do?" And I'm like, "Sort of. Yeah, that's what I do all day." You know, sometimes when people just want to see you in a foolish way, just allow them to see you in a foolish way, right? Wisdom is more lofty than foolishness, right? Wisdom is too high for a fool. So just let them think what they're going to think, right? So anyway, I have been coaching. So I will work with coaching clients, and a lot of that is virtual all over the world. I have created many courses and programs and have group programs that are running a lot, like multiple days a week behind the scenes. I am showing up here on the podcasts, on YouTube, on social media. So I am creating content. I am writing content. And I have many other projects that are happening behind the scenes, right? And when you are a CEO, when you are a founder, when you are a leader, there's many things that you are developing. There's many people that you are investing in, right? There's a whole lot of care that you have to have for a whole lot of things that you are juggling on any given day at any given time, right? So that is going to be heavy, right? If I were only coaching, I might have some clients taking up my schedule, but I'm doing way more than coaching. So there's way more things that I have to be prayerful about, intentional about, that I have to steward differently. And with anything that you do, there's also a side of it. You might love something. There's also a side of it that you don't love, right? Like, so for example, a lot of coaches and those that I work with, they love coaching. And yay, you truly want somebody that's going to be in a profession to love what they do. So they love coaching, but they don't love sales. They don't love marketing. They don't love administration. They don't love management. They don't love operations. Well, that comes with the territory. So you have to learn how to do these things, right? Other times, there's people that are entrepreneurs and they don't like social media and they don't like being visible, but you have to be visible for your business to be successful, right? So like there's just a trade-off here. You have to be able to sometimes, for lack of a better expression, literally focus, right? Like you have to have the rubber meet the road. Like you do have to decide when you are just going to be disciplined and show up. And other times it's going to feel beautiful and feel really expressive and creative, and that can be great too. But there are things that we don't like that we just have to do. Not everyone loves doing the laundry. Not everybody loves cleaning their house. Not everyone enjoys, right, doing some of the things that are more task oriented, but you can't abandon the task. They are part of assignments, right? So anyway, there's a lot that you mentally have to be invested in, a lot that you emotionally have to be invested in, financially, spiritually, physically. Like there's so much that's required of you the higher you go in the call, right? So a God dream is stewardship. That's what it is. It is not entitlement. It is stewardship. And any gift that you have, it's to serve the body. It's not even about you, right? So early seasons with a God dream and with stewarding God dreams, they are not balanced. Sometimes you are working multiple jobs while trying to devote time to learn and develop skills. Sometimes you're still staying in jobs way longer than you would like to because those are actually funding the God dream, and God is providing the job to help you develop skills that's also funding this thing over here, right? Or training you up so that you don't have to like have all of the mental weight of trying to think through launching things and all the pressure of having to financially do it immediately. Like God knows what he's doing. He is very detail oriented, but that's not always going to feel like balance to you. Okay, so there's this common misconception that stepping into a calling means more time freedom, more ease, and less pressure. No. No, like it's gonna feel like all of the pressure to you because now, like for example, if you were somebody that was behind the scenes and let's say that you're even more introverted, now you are launching something. When you launch something, you have to be extroverted. You have to be willing to be seen. You have to show up as you are. You have to let people know who you are. You have to tell them who you are. You have to tell them what you're offering them that can help them. You're going to have to be very proactive, and you can't just stay behind the scenes. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to let light be on you, and that can feel very heavy and very overwhelming to people. Suddenly it's like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It's a lot, right? And now there's more people that are going to give you feedback. And especially I have found that we're going to have even some hate come in the areas where we have insecurities. Like if you have insecurities about how you look on camera, there might be some bots or even some haters that come and attack that. If you have some concerns about how you communicate and you don't think you're a good communicator, you might have people come and say that until you don't have those insecurities anymore. And on the same note, you will have people that matter, that are the ones that are going to be the people that you're called to serve and that they've been waiting on you to show up. And it's going to be so life-giving and so worth it. But you have to not let either of that bother you and obey the Lord. You have to be locked in and laser focused. And often the first years require more structure and more intentionality than working for somebody else, right? When you work for somebody else, to some degree, depending on what your position is, you can clock in and clock out. Like there's like a set time that you start working and a time that you finish. You might even have some pretty good boundaries. Like you have a separate work computer, a separate work phone, so you can literally just like leave it over here and then go about your business. When you are building a God dream, like you're on assignment. Like you, to some degree, are always on. Okay? And God reveals things in times, right? It's like, go to this place that I'll show you. It's like he's giving you details. He might be showing you glimpses, but he's usually giving you steps. And so you don't see all of the steps ahead. You just have to keep taking the steps. And in real time, that can feel really uncertain. And that can bring up a lot of patterns maybe that don't serve you anymore, that might have worked for you in former seasons. And you've got to walk this out in real time. People that you're serving are not paying attention to how this makes you feel, what this is bringing up for you, right? Like the warfare that you are fighting through. They're not seeing that part, and so they're not super sensitive to that part, right? And that's just the human experience. That's not personal, right? But it can be a very lonely journey, a very complex one. And this is you trying to show up and be seen in the world, and you feel like you don't want to be seen at all. You want to run in hiding, right? So you're going to have to fight for your rest because there's going to be many things that are spinning, many plates in the air all at the same time. A lot of times though, like God has one burner that he gets started, then he gets another one started, and then you'll have like a full oven going in time. But there's many things that are going to require your attention that you have to execute on. So you absolutely are going to need rest because clear thinking and creativity comes from stillness, right? You're going to need clarity. Because there's going to be a lot of people that want to insert themselves into what you're doing and give you feedback and ideas. And you have to be very careful who you're going to be open to hearing from and who's going to have access to you. You're probably going to see very quickly where you have boundaries or where you need to start setting some. And maybe you've not really set them before. So that can be very overwhelming. Like when you first start setting boundaries, it feels like you're being mean, right? Or you're being confrontational. No, you're not. You're actually being a good steward and mature. Right? You're going to have to fight for your alignments. You're going to have to fight for your focus. You're going to have to fight for making relational equity a priority, right? And you don't just like drift into those things. Those things just do not happen, right? When you think about even just being an adult, when you don't have the same proximity that you did to people when you were in school, like you were just friends because somebody was in your class. You were just friends because that person was your neighbor. There was proximity there. You were just friends because that person was your roommate, right? Like it was like set up for you. Well, when you're an adult and you move across the country, right? Or you move often, or you've had many different experiences, you have to start over, and you don't always have the convenience of meeting people, and people are in different life stages. They've got all these kids, right? They've got all these activities that they have to get their kids to. They're just trying to be a human. So you don't really see people unless you deliberately make it happen, and you have to be committed to doing that. 1 Corinthians 4:2, in this case, moreover, it is required of stewards that one be found faithful and trustworthy. Is that your aim? A lot of times when people go into something, it's because of a certain outcome they want. They want more money. They want more influence and significance. They want more, just fill in the blank, right? But do you want to be found faithful and trustworthy? I would challenge that that needs to be the foundation of whatever you're doing, because there's going to be times where you don't feel successful at all. There's going to be times where the resources aren't flowing like you think they did. There's going to be times where what you used to do doesn't work anymore and God is releasing a new strategy to you. What are you going to determine to do no matter what as you're walking this thing out? Faithfulness is the early metric. It truly is. Not visibility, not recognition, not a certain dollar amount, all of that. It's not going to be the evidence necessarily of success and of obedience. And sometimes we think having a certain financial breakthrough, if you will, is it. That's not it. That's not a proof that that's just you being successful. And what happened in one season too, like, does that mean you're not successful when things are shifting and being refined in another season? Obedience is your success. Submission is your success. Faithfulness is your success. Trust is your success. Simply believing is your success. Galatians 6:9, let us not grow weary or become discouraged in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap if we do not give in. This means that there's going to be times where you definitely want to give in, where you do want to give up, where you have grown weary, where you are discouraged. And it says, don't do that. Like, don't give in, because you will reap. Just don't faint. You're going to feel weary. You're going to feel discouraged. Just don't faint. And we're going to constantly need to learn in those times that it's on you to encourage yourself in the Lord. It's on you to build up your faith, to praise, to worship, to pray, to study the word. Nobody's going to be there doing that for you. So you might not see immediate fruit. And this is true. And this is often over, at times, decades, that you don't see the fruit that you thought you would see. It might even make you question if you're going the right way. But that's why you have to be moving by a different metric. You have to be able to remain steady anyway. Balance is not the first fruit of obedience. And that can really get you stuck. I know for me, something sneaky that kept coming up is I wanted relief. Like, I wanted to be able to exhale. And God's like, we're just not in that season. I need you to keep building, and I need you to learn how to exhale in the build. And I thought, okay, we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to learn how to shift the weight and make the weight work for us, right? Alignment is the fruit of obedience. That's what it is. And alignment feels heavy sometimes. So you're going to have to, as you're building, also anticipate relational shifts. When you begin to steward something from God, relationships will ultimately shift. Okay? Some people will distance themselves. Some people will misunderstand what you're doing. Some people will question you. Some people will attempt to actually steal from you or replicate what you were building. Like, truly, God ideas are really good ideas. So people will want to take these ideas and steward them and act like they are the authority of them. Okay? And some will not believe in you at all. They won't. Or they'll be opportunists. They only want to support you for what's in it for them, right? And you got to look out for this. This is not new. This is kind of one of those tale as all its time things, but it will impact you as a human. It will never feel good to face some of these things. Of course, you will also have divine connections too. So you have to be open to trusting who God is releasing from your life and who he is bringing into your life. Okay, because these relationships are stewarded with a whole lot of intention. Genesis 37:5, Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers, they hated him even more. His brothers said to him, are you actually going to reign over us, or are you really going to rule us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for what he said. Sometimes in our excitement, we overshare with the wrong people. And then we get judgment hangovers, expectation hangovers, and it's just a mess, because now we almost have like monitoring spirits around us that are being nosy and not supportive at all. Okay? And that can definitely create noise for you and unnecessary pressure and strain. Okay? Nehemiah 4:1. Now when Sanballat heard that they were rebuilding the wall, he became furious. That's fun. And very angry and mock the Jews, saying, "What are these feeble Jews doing? Will they restore it for themselves?" Opposition often increases when building begins, right? You're not a real threat until you're building something. It's true. And when you're bringing a lot of people with you, you're for sure a threat that the enemy is not going to just let you build, you know? Romans 12:18. If possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. You stay with a clean heart and a pure heart, but this is going to be something that you have to do. You have to walk humbly with your God, right? Loving kindness and mercy. You've got to seek and pursue righteousness. It's very important. You have to stay focused on your assignments, and you do not stop building. Even when you're weary and discouraged, you do not stop building. You learn how to reset and get back in the game. And not everyone assigned to your past is assigned to your future. And just because you have history, that doesn't mean that you carry them along. Character is a biggie here, okay? Character must be established early. A God dream is going to expose your interior life every time. Every time. It's going to expose anything that's in there. Insecurity, pride, fear, need for approval, control, any sort of patterns that you have cultivated, it's going to expose them. All of it will surface in real time. Proverbs 4:23, watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. Another one, 1 Timothy 4:16, pay close attention to yourself and to your teaching. Persevere in these things, for by doing this, you will save both yourself and those who hear you. The assignment will destroy you if your character can't hold it. Truly. Truly. You have to decide early, I will love God, I will serve people, I will remain aligned regardless of the outcome. And lastly here, just two things that I want to share. Well, I guess there's a few more. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Yeah, I think I'll do a part 2. So we'll do part 1 because I give you a lot to be thinking about here. I'll do part 1. This will be part 1. And then I'll give you a break here and then go back and listen to part 2. So let me just give you a quick recap, okay? We are clarifying what a God dream actually is. A lot of the times, a personal desire or want that we just bring the Lord and ask him to bless is not actually the God dream. Okay, the God dream is something that God initiates, and God drops this desire in your heart, and you don't have peace until you start talking to him about it, right? And he starts revealing more and more to you, and you just have this conviction about it. And he's asking you to carry and steward something, and it's outside of your human capacity. It's outside of your ability. And a God dream is always going to bring you out of your current capacity, okay? So there's a big difference there. Now, the important things here for part 1, it's not always just easier. Responsibility increases, not decreases, when you are fully committed to stewarding a God dream, right? Many are called, few are chosen. What this means is many are called, many get the call, few answer. Few answer because they don't want what comes with it and they think they can avoid it. But that's a choice. You can use your free will to make that choice. And early seasons are not balanced. So I just want to acknowledge somebody. If you've been feeling like the season is not balanced, that could be why. It's not balanced. And we thought it was supposed to be. We thought it would be easier. We thought we'd have more time, and we have less time, and it's harder, and you don't have the skills yet, and you still have to learn things. And there's more weight that comes on you, and you don't get to just clock out today. You're the one that actually processes everything. Right? And now the finances are on you. The success is all on you. The outcomes are all on you. Before you were a part of it, you had a hand in it, but it didn't all fall on you at the end of the day. So that hits different, right? And then also, there's going to be relational shifts, and that can feel destabilizing because you thought you were going to run with these people for life. You thought you were going to be building with these people for life, and you wanted to, and you were devoted to people without seeing what their capacity was. You overcompensated, you overextended, or you participated in creating dynamics that were not built to last. And you need to build with different people for where you're going. Some can run, and some have been doing their work, but if they haven't, inevitably there will be relational shifts that can be shocking to see, but God will expose them so that you're not in the dark on these things, okay? And then character must be established early. Character must be established early because a God dream will always expose your inner life, Okay, so we're going to go through, I've got 4 more things that I will do in a part 2. So be sure to join us back for part 2. If you did not hear the announcements, make sure that you also go back to the beginning. All right, everybody, I hope this blessed you, and until next time, stay blessed. If today's episode encouraged your spirit, share it and leave a review so that other faith walkers can find their way home. And if you're ready for mentorship, activation, and community, join us inside Courage Co. It's just $20 a month to walk with us. You can access it at www.courageco.org.